Hey soldiers, what's shaking? Coach Donna J here, aka the Bossless Boomer. Welcome to my channel, Savvy Soldier. I am going to be talking about Montezuma's revenge. Some of you all are saying, what the Sam Hill is Montezuma's revenge? Well, I'm going to tell you about that in this video. I suffered it about 2 weeks ago. It was not fun. It was like the most horrible experience I've ever had. Montezuma's revenge. Now, before I forget, I'm going to ask you to subscribe and push the like button and leave comments, ask questions. On this channel, I talk about living abroad in Mexico. I talk about things that baby boomers and late bloomers can do as far as securing some type of passive income before retirement and other things that are just plain interesting to me on this channel. So if those things are interesting to you, go ahead. Again, push the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. So back to Montezuma's revenge. Some people refer to it as Mexican diarrhea or traveling diarrhea. It can happen when you are traveling to a country that the flora is different than where you're coming from. Oftentimes, individuals talk about people getting it once you are past the U.S. Southern border. So Mexico and Central America, places like that, it is common. What are the symptoms? I had them all. First, it started off with 2 hours of dry heaves. I hadn't thrown up. Sorry about that. But I had not had any episodes of vomiting or anything in over 30 years. I'm just not somebody that gets sick. But it started off with just these horrible urging. I was praying. I was actually praying. I said, God, help me to vomit. I think I'll feel better if I could just vomit. And when it came, it came. So with this Montezuma's revenge, you're going to have diarrhea. You're going to have vomiting. You're going to have bloating. And you're going to have just this general malaise where you just don't feel good. Never ran a fever or anything like that. But it lasted me 5.5 days. I've talked to other individuals in the area who have had it. And for them, it was 5 days, 7 days, sometimes even more. And one of the risks you run is, of course, dehydration. And in this warm climate, we definitely don't need that. But what is Montezuma's revenge? Well, let me give you a little history. So it is believed to be retribution, associated with retribution for the slaughter and the enslavement of the Aztec people back in like 1466 to 1520. So back then, the ruler, Montezuma, was overthrown by a Hernan Cortez. He was a Spanish leader that overthrew the country. And so they believe this stomach virus that we get is retribution for what they did to the Aztec people. Just a little history there for you. So the symptoms, again, is the vomiting, the diarrhea, the bloating, and just general malaise. What's causing it? A virus or some type of parasite or bacteria that's gotten into the gut, into the intestines, because you have eaten some kind of contaminated food or you've drank some kind of contaminated water that may have contained some feces. So there's the possibility of salmonella or E. coli or different things like that that's causing the problem. How do you treat it? Well, you need to take an anti-diarrhea medication. I ended up calling a doctor around the 3rd day because it was just rough, and was given instructions on what medication to take to help the diarrhea. I later found out that, that helped with the diarrhea, but if there's a bacteria in your belly and you're not passing it naturally, you may have to have antibiotics. If you don't get antibiotics, another option that you can do is take like Pepto-Bismol, and which is what I ended up doing after it's tried to come back like the 2nd week. And the reason I did the Pepto-Bismol is because it has 2 dual purposes. It coats the stomach, so it helps relieve the nausea feeling, and the discomfort associated with what's going on in your gut. But then it also has properties that kill common bacteria found in the gut. And so that was my saving grace, along with a whole bunch of prayer. But yeah, so Montezuma's revenge. Some things that you can do to avoid getting it is, when you're traveling abroad to, south of the border and things like that, third world or populations or areas, you want to avoid drinking tap water for sure, which I had done. I had been avoiding the tap water. I only drink bottled water. But I did remember that when I go to restaurants, sometimes there's ice in those drinks. I'm not 100% as to where the ice cubes were developed, how were they using tap water to create, I don't know. So one of the things I've stopped doing is asking for no ice if I'm drinking out in public. The other things, I do not brush my teeth using tap water in the bathroom. I use bottled water when I'm brushing my teeth. When I take a shower, I make sure to keep my mouth closed so that I don't run the risk of water getting in my mouth while I'm taking a shower. There is a product that you can use. I did a video about this a little while back, and I think I left it on my Facebook channel. But it's called Microdin. And what it is it's a microbia. So you put it in about a liter of water, a drop or two in a liter of water, and for 15 minutes, let your fruits and vegetables kind of soak in there so that it can kill off any bacteria that may be still on the food. Now, I have been so leery about eating out or eating anything as far as fresh fruits and vegetables, I opt to use frozen fruits and vegetables now. So I use frozen fruit for my smoothies, and if I want some vegetables for dinner, I go to Walmart and I buy frozen vegetables. You want to make sure that if you're eating meat, especially seafood, that's what we have a lot down here in Mexico, is to make sure that it's cooked thoroughly and that it's served at a good hot temperature, because those are some other areas in which you could put yourself in harm's way of getting some of those bacterias or those bugs, those just nasty pest bugs in your gut, and you end up being sick. So that's it. Montezuma's revenge. I had it. I overcame it. I feel like I must be a Mexican now. I've been initiated. But if you have any other questions about that, please give me a call. I do want to say that when I did call the doctor, she was attentive to my needs. She called me, she talked to me on the phone, and she, reassured me, and she helped me get through it. Again, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So take precautions when you're traveling abroad, especially in south of the border or other foreign countries where your body, your gut, your immune just isn't accustomed to the flora that's in that country. Until next time, be well, live free, and prosper.